Your body always has an answer.
The session is a felt experience of what it feels like to come out of the trauma.
I feel like I'm wasting my life.
You say one thing and your body's squirming and moving. And so what I want to know is why.
Every breakup I've ever gone through, I move on so fast. I'm like, is there something wrong with me? You guys are the love gurus. Tell me, what is going on? So today we're going to see my friends Jonathan and Aila. They go by the Love Gurus, which is quite a bold name to go with. I've been getting to know Jonathan and Aila over the last year, and I've been wanting to experience this bridging method that they guide. I have no clue what's going to happen, but what we're going to be working on today is they are going to help me process this breakup that I went through recently that I feel like I just have not processed. It's almost like I kind of just shut it away and like dissociated. Like I was with this partner for 3 years and it was beautiful and amazing, and then we broke up at the end of April. It was definitely sad and I felt like sad about it, but I feel like I kind of just shut it out and just moved on with my life and just distracted myself, and I just haven't really like grieved that or processed it. My heart is just feeling like it needs to understand what happened, how to let that go, how to just heal from that. And so since then, I've been just figuring out like, how do I move on with my life and actually call in my life partner? How do you know that you're supposed to be with somebody? It's like I want to feel that gut feeling, you know? Jonathan and Aila, they work with people specifically on love and relationships. That's why they're called the Love Gurus. Like I'm kind of nervous about this because I'm also terrified to be documenting this because I feel like it could get really intense and there could be some very vulnerable things that come up, and I'm just like surrendering to this experience essentially. So let's go meet the Love Gurus. I wanted to ask you before we start, the name The Love Gurus is such a bold choice. Why choose that name?
It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna have the name, and that's the name. I was terrified when that name came. I was like, no way. And we laughed, and then we kept coming back to it because it felt right.
I mean, it's a name we're still growing into, and I don't know if we'll ever have grown into it.
I feel like the word guru has such this connotation with it, especially living in LA and being in the spiritual realm. And people are almost fearful because we've seen that role be abused.
There's been various iterations of how that word has been used, but in its really purest essence, it's a beautiful word. One that brings light into the darkness, one that dispels darkness, like one that helps you see the truth of yourself, of life, of your spirit.
If you have a good healer, a true healer, it is one that's pointing you toward healing yourself, not one that's doing it for you.
So can you describe what the bridging method actually is?
Bridging is really to bridge the gap between your conscious reality and your subconscious or unconscious reality.
What are we doing? Like, can you just walk me through what this is gonna be like?
It's usually a 5-step process, but it changes based on whoever we're dealing with, because we follow the body. At the beginning, we just get to know you, we chat, get to see what's going on right now, what's alive, what's present. Then we go into a somatic portion. So we're gonna get into the body, see what the body's story is, because sometimes what you say and what you say from here is very different. And that's where the actual session starts. It's in the body. Then there's a part where you address him to heal energies with the masculine, and with me, energies with the feminine, or energies when it comes to dealing with yourself. And then we do a meditation at the end. So simple enough.
Okay.
We'll start with an intention and just being really present to what's alive in you today.
And I want you to really let go of anything that happened before this moment.
What came up? What for your intention?
Why are you here?
The intention is to work through this breakup that I went through. What came up right now in this moment is this intention to balance masculine and feminine within me. I feel this void kind of that's been coming up in the last few months after this breakup with my partner of 3 years. He provided such a powerful, grounded, masculine presence in my life. And I've just been like missing that and wanting it. I haven't properly felt and grieved this loss of my partnership. It was 3 years long and it was such an important part of my life. Every breakup I've ever gone through, I move on so fast. And I don't know why. I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I could deeply love somebody, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, that chapter's over, I am moving on. And I don't really feel that much around it. So what is going on? This is like, why everybody talks about breakups being so hard. You guys are the love gurus. Tell me, what is going on?
You said you haven't processed it, and you did what right after the breakup? You channeled your energy into
My work.
everybody has something that they've learned to, cope with life. For you, it seems like work and channeling everything into that has been your safety. Are you truly getting to the bottom of these things when they're coming up, or are you just working through them?
There's an interesting thing that happens when you're talking about story.
Yeah.
You go over here and you leave us and you go to your place. It looks a little bit like you've been living in your story rather than living in your life. Everyone has a story. And in our experience, it takes people usually 45 minutes to an hour to even get to the end of their story. And it feels like that's where the session really kicks in. It's like, okay, we hear all the things you said you are, or all the stories, or all the trauma and all the stuff, and now let's just like, what else is in there? If you're not careful, you'll find yourself isolated and lonely in your world, right?
Does that resonate?
Yeah. The only way that I've been able to create what I want has been to isolate myself to an extent.
I can already imagine the overwork, the story in your head, the feeling in your body about what needs to happen, what has to get done, all this kind of stuff.
I didn't feel like I needed to process it or grieve. I was like, okay, what is that gonna do? You know what I mean? Let me just go back to my life and create. If I'm not creating, I feel horrible. I don't feel like myself. I have a need. It's a need to breathe. It's my need to create. It's like a need. I could not live on this earth without creating things. And I think we're meant to create as humans, but it's almost like, if I'm not creating, if I'm just being, I feel worthless. I feel like I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my gifts. I'm wasting this opportunity that I have.
Your worth is coming from your creation.
Yeah.
But what is the fear of stillness?
I need to create things.
Why?
Because it's my identity.
Yeah, exactly. What happens if the sun shines down on the earth 24 hours a day?
Burns.
If there is no balance, nothing lives. If you're creating from a place of just pure grit, is that truly inspired creation 100% of the time?
No.
This working thing is a gift. Some people don't have that. You have that. That's never going to go away. But what's going to happen as you deepen into your feminine, as you start listening, the creation is going to get stronger. And why is that? What does the camera pick up? What do people pick up in an audience when they're looking at a performance? the truest thing in the room. Authentic truth that comes in from source. When you connect to that, when you are in tune with that energy and you create from that place, that's the thing you're looking for. And that can't come from just pure grit.
There's a version of you that is not just work sky. There's a version of you that wants to be held. There's a version of you that wants to enjoy stillness and peace.
Yeah, it's like I really do want that. But I see it as like, oh, like when I'm old, I'm gonna have like a castle that I'm gonna read all day, you know?
If you can do X now, you can do it then. That is a sentence that I want you to just memorize. If you can't do it in this very moment, you can't do it when blank happens. No, it's not going to happen.
We have clients come in their 60s and their 70s that thought, oh, it'll be better when, and they feel broken because they never tended to any other part of their body, of their soul, of their emotional state, and they get numb, right? Numbness is a big thing, Sky.
Yeah, maybe that's this thing around the breakup. It's like, why does it feel numb?
If you want a little bit of like insight into the process, it's so much less about the words you say and so much more about what your body and your eyes are doing while you're saying them. Because you say one thing and your body's squirming and moving, and there's so much restlessness. And so what I want to know is why.
Stillness and slowing down for me is definitely challenging. It's like I have to have worked all day and really stayed really focused to be like, okay, now I earned my rest.
Who told you that that was life?
It's in my lineage. It's a natural primal instinct.
Where do you go when you're over there?
I don't know, but I just don't feel like sitting up and talking anymore.
Because you want to run. Come here.
Okay. Can we talk about something?
Yeah.
I feel this insane drive to be successful because I feel like as a woman I need to. Every single woman in my lineage has been a housewife, and I do not want that. I want to make my own money and I want to be successful. I have to. It's like if I go through my life and I have not created that for myself, I will feel like a failure because I know that I can do it and I have to. I want to be financially successful and provide for my family. As a woman, I do not want to rely on a man for that.
Because
I just don't, because it's never happened in my family.
Feel that because this is coming up in your relationships.
Sometimes the subtext of what you might be putting out there is, I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. And then eventually people are like, oh, well, okay. But maybe you want them.
Yeah.
Maybe you love them. To me, the energy you're wanting is that freedom, that liberation, that being seen, that being held, and being respected for who you are. And there's so many different parts of you, Sky. You're such a beautiful person. I want to ask you, in your body, where do you feel disrespect?
Disrespect.
Where is that alive? Where's that been alive in your life?
I feel disrespect in my womb.
Can you put your hands over it? Yeah. Just, it's okay. Just feel it. It's there.
Can we lay down? I don't feel like I can sit up anymore.
Before we do that, connect with me for a second.
Okay.
With me. I see you, and that pain is valid. Come back to me. Come back to me. I want you to just notice the pain. And breathe. Yeah. What happens to the actual pain when you look at it?
It's literally sick.
Do you see how much power you have? The pain lives in the body, and when you pay attention to it, it actually moves. But the suffering lives in the mind, and you're letting the mind just run amok. And you have a very powerful imagination. I also want you to clue into something. The moment you started feeling stuff, let's lay down. Let's do this. Let's do something different. I don't want to be here.
Okay.
So I want you to remember this next time you find yourself with that urge to create, to do something, to like not be where you are, and be with your body. And feel what your body's telling you. Put your hands on your shoulders and ask your shoulders what they're holding on to.
It's anxiety in the shoulders, and I've been carrying that, and it's that need to provide, and it's financial stress, it's just stress.
It's not the money. That's the whole thing. That's what people think.
But I don't want to live without being financially successful.
But the thing you want to feel is peace. The thing you want to feel is freedom.
Yes.
Liberation from this. You are worthy of feeling good in your body, and you can have the life of your dreams, but not if you stay on that path. Your liberation starts in your womb and in your shoulders.
Now we can lay down.
And thank you for that.
Thank God.
You've earned it.
You heard the laying down.
I'm like, please.
So as the love gurus, you are primarily working with people on love and relationships. What makes you feel like you have the authority to do that?
Because I've gone through it. Because he's held space for me as I went through really, really deep trauma. And this method evolved as we started to teach women how to do the same thing I was doing for myself. We can't even take credit for it. It just happened on its own. These like steps that we take in bridging just happened every single time. And we're like, okay, let's just follow that. That's our roadmap to get people deeply connected to themselves and move past that trauma. The only reason we went into this field was because we're like, oh my God, we have the key to something that so many people are suffering and that they need this key to. So we have this moral responsibility to share what we've gone through. So what we're really doing is not just healing like a relationship from person to person, but really going deeper into traumas, going deeper into the relationship you have with yourself, with your patterns, and with anything that blocks you from truly living your life. So now, for the breathing portion, don't control it. Push my hand, push my hand, push my hand, push my hand, and then let it go. Inhale into your belly. The first thing we start with is breath, because breath will trigger whatever you're holding on to. And the second you introduce breath and you start breathing deeply into your body and you start to get into those tight places, especially around the psoas and like anything around the belly, when you stretch that out, you start to feel the stuff you haven't been feeling. And then it starts to come up, you start getting images, or you start getting feelings or thoughts that you never even thought about before because it's been stored. And as that happens, and as you're allowing yourself to hold space for yourself, true healing starts happening. And connect to your womb. Hey womb, where have I not been listening to you? What does she say?
She feels disrespected. She feels trapped or something.
Don't run away from this. Not the stories, Guy. Bring into the sensation.
I feel disrespected by men. I feel like I can't trust. I can't trust them.
Do you feel bad about saying that or something?
Yeah, because I feel like I can't blame anybody except myself. Nobody can actually disrespect me except myself.
I don't know if that's true. I think people can disrespect you.
Yeah.
Women get disrespected all the time.
So how are you disrespecting yourself?
I'm feeling like I'm blaming myself for everything. Everything that happens is my fault. Anything that has happened, it's been because I've let it happen.
Breathe into the belly and into the chest.
And that's the thing, is like, it's a deeply worn rut. It's not going to be light to get out of that, right? And your body in so many ways is really fighting to keep you in that, because that is survival, right? That is what has kept you alive. It doesn't mean it's comfortable. It doesn't mean it's thriving and flourishing, but it's surviving.
If you were a little kid and every wrong thing that you did, somebody blamed you for it and yelled at you for it and punished you for it, how would you feel?
Everything I do is wrong.
And ultimately, do you think that little kid is doing wrong things on purpose?
No.
And what does that little kid need more than anything in the world?
Just be accepted and loved.
I think it's really important that you validate yourself and your emotions. That when these feelings are coming up, you feel them and don't make them wrong.
Okay.
Don't make yourself wrong.
Okay.
It's interesting because that's like what men do to women and we hate them for it. And you're doing that to yourself. Your masculine is telling your feminine, it's your fault. Your feelings are not valid.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Do this and fix it. Be perfect.
Yeah.
What's the biggest point of conflict that you're seeing in the relationships and the couples that you're working with? What's the pattern around? What's the crux of the tension or the conflict that keeps coming up?
Women want to be heard, and men don't know how to hold space for them, or not that they don't know, is that they want to fix them or heal them or do something so they don't hurt anymore. And in the process of that, women shut down. I feel like that's like the most common thing that comes up and again and again and again, is like, we just want to be validated for our feelings.
You have a very strong inner masculine and is shaming your inner feminine.
Yeah.
And is stunting your creation.
Yeah. Every time I mess up, I feel like shame about it and being mad at myself and then needing to fix it.
First, we need to forgive yourself for doing that. I think it's time you create a new relationship to your masculine and with men.
When it comes to heartbreak and breakups, what patterns are you seeing around this topic? How are you working with people on this specific issue?
There is like this sense that people just don't know how to be in healthy relationships. I think there's a little bit of addiction in the beginning of a relationship where it's like, oh, I don't know you, you don't know me. This exists in pure potential. So everything is possible. And then you get that rise and you get that feeling. And then as you get to know each other, that gets like chipped away at. And then the patterns come out, the ruts start to happen. And then we feel trapped, we rebel, and it's a whole thing, right? It's someone getting close to that thing you don't want to look at or you don't want to change. But was it that relationship that was trapping you or keeping you imprisoned, or is it your pattern? And was that person there inviting you to change that? And were you inviting them to change that? Can you be heard? Can you listen? I mean, everything really comes back to that survival mechanism, that trigger.
And it's going to come up in the next relationship.
Oh, you just trade the person and the pattern is still there.
Right.
And it's a vibration, so you are sending out the signal and whoever's matching that signal is going to come to you. And they're coming with a lesson for you, right? So if you are that person that never speaks up, you might attract somebody that forces you to speak up. And that might come in a really toxic way sometimes. That might come with somebody being super overbearing and like pushing you to the point that you have to scream. It's pushing you to a point to notice what you're holding on to so you can outgrow it, so you can release it, so you can heal it. If you have the courage to look at that part of you that hasn't healed together and come up with a solution together, or like see it as like you're working on this together, then you start to heal that because you don't feel like the world is against you.
The thing is, with my relationship with Logan, I feel like he always validated my feelings and he always held space for me, and he never made me feel that way. He's just so great. And then I feel sad because I couldn't receive that, you know? He really accepted me. And I just miss him a lot. But I have to learn how to do that for myself.
Breathe. Here. Up. Good. Breathe here. And up. Good job. What did you learn in this relationship?
I learned how to love myself more and to accept myself more. And I learned to feel safe with a man for the first time.
Come into the now. Breathe into the belly, into your chest. We learn how to come out of our sympathetic state and go into our parasympathetic state in the middle of a trigger. And what that means is you're getting out of survival and coming into the moment. The session is a felt experience of what it feels like to come out of the trauma. Because what we do in the session is we like, imagine this is a train track and you do a break this way, right? So what you have to do is keep practicing that break so this becomes your new normal and not this way that you've been going.
Right.
So you have to interrupt that pattern over and over and over again, consciously.
Yeah. It's so important when you have the body experience, you know you can get back to that place.
Allow yourself to feel the pain, because we're avoiding the pain constantly, and in avoiding the pain we create more pain. We create more of the same situation that we're running from. We're so used to the comfort, right? Like we seek that comfort, and in doing that we are stunting our growth. We don't get to our edges, and if we don't get to our edges and push past them, we stay stuck. We don't grow, we don't expand, we don't evolve. So in order to actually do that, you have to look at the places that you're not wanting to look at.
There is nothing harder than going inward, because it forces you to reconcile that mechanism that has you scared and running for your life. But if you don't, you will always be scared and running for your life.
Instead of living your life.
Instead of living, soaking up, feeling, squeezing the juice out of life and really thriving and flourishing. I mean, life becomes so rich when you're not freaked out all the time, when you're not overwhelmed and overloaded with stress. What do you desire? And it's okay to desire independence and to be held. How can you be really seen? How can you be respected? It's okay that you don't know. I think as you keep listening to your body, I think you'll actually get some words. And when you get those words, you can speak those words. And when you speak those words, you cast a spell on life.
I just want to be celebrated and acknowledged and loved and just held in safety and respected. I want to be worshipped like a queen. Because I have the equal capacity to worship that king that I want. Like, I have that capacity and I want to be met. I want to have financial success and independence and to be taken care of.
It's been so beautiful watching you rise into your own power. You're so here. You're so clear and you're so sky. Like, this is the most sky I've ever seen you. There's no fidgeting, it's just like boom. If you've been this powerful up until now, I can't imagine what you'll do next. I know you can be exactly who you want to be. And when a man can meet you in this place, then you can create that relationship you're talking about.
I feel ready. I have the capacity. I am expanding.
Wow. 5 deep. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've seen so many women transformed because of this. Not just women, men too.
I just saw a side of you I've never seen. In a good way. Put your hand on your heart and ask your heart, what does the little me need to hear?
You're amazing.
Your body always has an answer. By saying it, you bring it to you.
Yeah.
You magnetize it. That is the power of a woman. We are magnetic, but we have been taught to not say things.
Yeah.
It's time for you to start speaking.
Yeah.
What has Sky been scared to say? It's okay, relax.
I'm proud of myself. I've been doing my best and I keep showing up and I'm proud.
Wow. That feels really good. I think your little girl needs to hear that a lot more when you're being hard on yourself. That right there is your power.
A theme of this whole video has been empowerment and giving people their power back. That it's not going to come from a therapist or the government or a healer or a guru. It has to come from within you. And the best teachers, the best gurus show you that, and they show you how to do that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have you on this channel or share your work with people if I didn't believe that that's what you guys are doing and that's where you're coming from. I know your intention, I know your hearts are pure in your desire to support people. And I think you live up to the title of the Love Gurus. Really, it's such a big title and big name to fill, and it's not like this serious thing where I'm like, my gurus.
Sky, I can't believe you didn't bring flower petals for our feet today.
Not kissing your feet.
I think ultimately what we want to teach people is you are the creator of your own life. So what are you creating?
Boom. That's a great question to end on for them to ponder. Well, that is it for this episode of Sky Life. Thank you for being here, Love Gurus. Thank you all for watching.
And the adventure continues. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Namaste. My gurus.
Kiss my feet.